Welcome to our last two videos about networks, right? On this video, we are going to talk about web servers, okay? On these two videos, we are going to talk about web servers or HTTP servers, okay? So first of all, let's clarify what is a server. Okay, a server is a computer dedicated to offer some kind of service on a network. For example, we have already seen two of them, okay, DHCP servers to offer dynamic IP addresses and DNS servers to make the translation between domain names and IP addresses, okay? But there are more of them. Right? We've got credential servers to provide security with users' names and passwords. We've got file servers to store and transfer files. We've got email servers to send and receive emails. We've got game servers to play multiplayer games. We've got instant messaging servers to use applications like Telegram or WhatsApp, etc. Okay? And in order to get web pages, we need a web server. Right? A web server is a computer, right, like this one, on which some folders are linked to one or more domains, right? And they contain files inside those folders, which are the pages inside the domain. In order to understand this, let's imagine this scenario, okay? From our computer, right, we want to watch this web page, okay? When we write this on our browser, what we are really saying is that we want to see the file1.html, which is contained inside the computer linked to the domain www.example2.com. Okay, when we write this, we are going to send a request to this computer, and this computer is going to see whether or not it has a folder linked, configured, okay, linked with that domain. If inside that folder it has a file called file1.html, it is going to retrieve it and send it back to us, okay? And we are going to watch that file on our browser, right? The browser is the web client, okay? And this conversation is going to be carried out using the HTTP protocol, which is the protocol used to request and receive web pages. If we want to create a website, after hiring our domain, we will usually hire a server from a kind of company called a web host. And we are going to configure that computer to link our domain with a folder inside it. Right? After that, we will create the pages, okay, that comprise our website, that is our files, and we are going to store them on that folder, right? Depending on our needs, there are three basic kinds of servers that we can hire, which are the dedicated servers, the shared servers, and the virtual servers. When we hire a dedicated server, we are hiring a full computer, okay, a full physical computer. That means that we can do on that computer anything that we need, okay, but we have to pay for the whole computer, right? So this gives us a lot of possibilities and a lot of power because we've got the full processor, the full memory, the full hard disk of that computer for our needs, okay, but we have to pay for a full computer. Okay, and that is quite expensive. On the other side, we've got another kind of hosting, which is called a shared hosting. Okay, inside the shared server, we only hire one folder inside that computer, right? Inside the physical computer, we hire a folder. Okay, some space inside the hard disk. Our web page will be stored on that computer with lots of other web pages, and we will share the resources of that computer, okay, between or among all the web pages inside that folder. We are not going to be able to customize, to configure everything that we want inside that computer, okay. On a dedicated server, we can install any program that we need, but on a shared server, we can only install and use the things that the web host company allows us to use on that computer. Okay, so it is going to be cheaper, okay, because the price of the physical computer is going to be shared among the different clients using it, but we are not going to be able to customize it, okay, to configure everything that we might need, and we will not have the full power of that computer for us, because the processor, the memory, and all the resources inside that computer will be shared among the different web pages, okay, or configured inside that server. And we've got a third kind, okay, which is somehow between the other two, okay. These are virtual hosting, okay. In a virtual or when we use virtual hosting, what we are doing is we are hiring a virtual computer inside a physical computer, right? A virtual computer or a virtual machine is a program that can be used as if it was a real computer, right? So when we hire a virtual computer, we are hiring a computer that can be configured as we need, but will be stored or will be used along with several other virtual computers inside a physical server. It is going to be cheaper than a dedicated server, because several clients are going to pay for the physical computer. It is not going to be as powerful as a dedicated server, because the physical resources of this computer, okay, the memory, the processor, are going to be shared among the different virtual computers inside it, but we are going to be able to customize it, okay, to configure more things than here, because this is going to behave as a physical computer, so we can install anything we need, okay, we can configure anything we need there, right? The dedicated ones and the virtual ones will need to be managed by someone who has the necessary skills to configure a full server, and the shared ones are going to be configured more easily. So if you don't have the technical skills to configure these ones or these ones, okay, this is an appropriate option, right? But if you need to configure specific programs or you need specific configurations, you will need a dedicated server, which is expensive but very powerful, okay, or a virtual server, which is going to be cheaper, okay, but not as powerful as this, because the power of this physical computer will be shared among the different virtual computers inside it. Apart from these three main types of servers, okay, there are many different characteristics that will be offered by the hosting company that we will need to know, okay, in order to hire the kind of server that fits our needs, okay. For example, okay, we can ask ourselves some questions, okay. Imagine that I want to create a website, right, and I am going to store documents, videos, okay, different kind of things there, okay, or a social network, okay. So first of all, I have to ask myself, what do I want to store inside my website, okay? Which are the things that I am going to offer? If I want to offer lots of information or documents, I will need a big disk capacity, okay. The more disk I hire, the more expensive it is going to be, right? Imagine that I want to store videos, okay. Each video I want to store has a size of 500 megabytes. If I want to store 100 of them, I will need 50 gigabytes, okay. Otherwise I will not be able to store them inside that hard disk, okay. And the same for the visits. How many visits will I expect, okay, or how many visits do I expect? If I expect a lot of visits, I will need a big data transfer capacity, okay? And the more we need, the more I will have to pay, right? Each time someone enters our website, data is sent between our server, okay, the server that we have hired, and that person's computer, right? So if we want to transfer a lot of information, because we are going to have a lot of visits, we will need a lot of data transfer capacity, okay? For example, the same as with the videos. If I have videos, okay, and each video has 500 megabytes, and I expect 100 visitors each month, and each visitor is going to watch one video, I will need at least 50 gigabytes of data transfer, because otherwise they are not going to, or I am not going to be able to serve all everything that those visitors need, right? Another question. Will I need an email service? Okay, some hosting plans include the possibility to use email addresses with our domain, okay, user@mydomain.com. Okay, if we want to use it, we will have to hire a hosting plan that offers that possibility. Okay, how many users will I need for my email? Okay, some hosts will offer you 10 email accounts, okay, or some other will offer you 50, okay. Am I going to create a website for my company and I need one email address for each employee? So how many employees do I have? So I will need at least one email address for each of them. Okay, and if I've got email, will I fight against spam? Okay, some providers, some web hosts offer countermeasures in order to avoid unsolicited emails. Okay, that is spam. How many subdomains will I need to use? Okay, subdomains are useful to organize our different websites, should we have more than one. So if we want to have second-level websites in subdomains, we will have to hire a service that allows us to configure subdomains. Okay, on the same way, if more than one domain is needed, okay, that option is also going need to be hired, right? And do we need to know how many people entered our website? Some hosting services offer logs and statistics, so we can know how many visitors have we had, which has been the most viewed page, right? Will I be offering static or dynamic documents? Okay, this is very important, right? If we only want to offer simple and static documents, okay, that is HTML documents, a simple service will be enough for us. But what if I want to offer the possibility to watch news, post comments, okay, the things that we usually do on a web page, okay? Those web pages are developed using programming languages, okay, and their data is stored in databases. So if I want to create dynamic web pages, right, or dynamic websites, I will need to hire a web service, okay, that offers both programming languages and databases. Okay, the most used programming languages on websites are PHP, ASP.NET, Python, or Perl, and the most used database system on websites are MySQL, PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL Server, sometimes Access. Okay, so if we want to offer dynamic documents, our web server will need to have or to support programming languages and databases. Otherwise, we are going to be able to offer only static documents, right? How will I control the hosted services? Okay, if our technological knowledge is limited, we will need a control panel in order to manage our website. Okay, and the most used ones are cPanel and Plesk. Okay, there are some other out there, but those are the most used ones, right? And do I need technical adjustments, lots of power? Okay, in this case, we will need to choose among shared servers, dedicated servers, or virtual servers. Okay, as we said. Before we continue, I want you to understand the difference between a static and a dynamic web page. Okay, I am connected to a server that I own, that it's linked to one domain, okay, which is thecollagin.com. Okay, I've got nothing there yet, right? But I am going to create a couple of files inside the folder which is linked to that domain. Okay, I am going to create a document which is called static.html. Okay, and here I'm going to write a basic document, right? A basic web page. Web pages are written on HTML language, okay? And this is a very simple web page, right? It is a page with a title, which is written this way, and a page I'm going to write here. The body of the page. Okay, I don't expect you to understand this, okay? I just want you to try to imagine, to figure out what is going to happen. Hello from a static page, and here I'm going to write a list with the numbers that go from 1 to 5. Okay, let's copy this. Okay, here I've just created a web page which has a title, okay, which is a static page, a heading, okay, which says hello from a static page, and then this is a list with 5 elements, okay, the numbers from 1 to 5. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to a browser, and I'm going to enter the page that I have just created, okay. Inside the folder linked to this domain on my server, I have created this page which contained, okay, a title, a static page, a heading, hello from a static page, and then the numbers that go from 1 to 5. Okay, this is a static page, it cannot change. Okay, this has the contents that I have just written. Okay, but which is the difference between a static page and a dynamic page? Okay, let's change this page in order to make it a dynamic page. I'm going to copy that file to another file called dynamic.php. Okay, another page, another file, and I'm going to edit it. Okay, this is the same contents, but I'm going to change the title. Okay, this is going to be dynamic page. Okay, and here hello from a dynamic page, and I'm going to delete this list because I'm going to create a dynamic list. Okay, I am going to create here a program that gets 2 numbers that I can send to the page, and it is going to create a list from the first number to the last one. And in order to do this, I am going to use a programming language which is called PHP. Okay, on PHP I can get parameters, right, this way. Okay, I'm going to use a parameter which is called ini for the initial number, and another one which is called end. Okay, this way, end for the last number. And now I'm going to create a dynamic list with all the numbers from the first one to the last one. Okay, and this is done with a for. As I told you before, I don't expect you to understand this. I just want you to understand the concept, because I know that you do not know PHP. Okay, here I am getting two parameters, which are ini and end, and I am going to create a list that goes from the initial number to the final number. Okay, here I am not writing the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, because that was a static web page. This is going to be a dynamic one. Okay, each time I enter this page, I will be able to change the numbers, okay, the initial and the final numbers, and each time I enter, okay, I will be able to create a new web page. Okay, the numbers are not here. Here I've got a program that generates the page, right? So let's save. And let's go to our browser and say, okay, I want to go to dynamic.php, and I'm going to pass it two parameters, which is ini is equal to 1 and end is equal to 100. If I load this, okay, I automatically get this page, which has been generated with the program that I have written. Okay, the static page cannot be changed. It always offers this, right? But the dynamic one can be changed, because if I now just write 10, I get this. If I change the initial number, okay, from 10 to 20, I get this, right? Okay, the static pages always offer the same, but the dynamic pages are programmed, okay, and they can offer different kind of things depending on what we do. Okay, this is just an example, okay, but if I have news inside the database, okay, I can access the news inside the database and display those news on my page. If I write a comment, I can store that comment inside the database, so that comment is can be viewed by the rest of my visitors. Okay, with dynamic pages I can have interaction, right? With static pages, I just got a static text that cannot be changed, right? That is the difference between dynamic and static web pages. And in order to finish this video, I'm going to enter a web host, okay, web hosting company, and I'm going to see how do they offer the different hosting plans that they have. Okay, so you can see that what we have just said on the theory is true. Okay, I'm going to enter this web host, right, this web hosting company. I've got no affiliation with this company, okay, they don't pay me, this is not our advertising. Okay, here I can register domains, and I have different, okay, here I've got virtual servers, right, and here where I see hosting, these are shared servers, right. I'm going to enter one of them, this one, and let's see what offers. First of all, okay, this is what we will need to pay, right, monthly, if we want to hire this. And if I pay that, what do I have? Okay, here I've got different sections. For example, space and transfer capacity. Okay, I've got this space, okay, on my hard disk. So if I need more than 15 gigabytes, this is not suitable for me. Okay, and I can transfer all the information that I want. Okay, so this is good. I can hire 3 domains. I can register 1 domain. Okay, so included in this price is the registration of 1 domain. okay? I can use all the subdomains that I want. I can use databases, okay? This is important, okay? In this case, MySQL databases. And let's, if I come here, I can use PHP, okay, and Perl. We said that with PHP and Perl, we can, and Python, okay, we can create dynamic web pages, okay, because these are programming languages used to create dynamic web pages. So I've got databases, I've got programming languages, I can create dynamic web pages with this. Apart from this, okay, I've got email, 200 accounts, I've got a webmail, okay, we haven't talked about that before, but if I need webmail, that is, if I need to access my email using a website, okay, like we can do, for example, with Gmail, I will need to hire a server, a web host that provides me with mail, okay. I've got anti-spam countermeasures, right? Apart from it, okay, I can use Plesk, right, to manage my server, right, or my service. I have statistics, okay, so I can watch how many visitors did I have. And here I've got more options, okay. But when I try to, or when I want to hire a web server, okay, I need to come to one of these companies, okay, and take a look at the different options that they offer, right, in order to see if it fits our needs. And this is a little bit of theory, okay, and on our next and last video we are going to see how can we configure a web server on our simulator, okay. Thank you.